careful.
Shut up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gifted animals, and everyone else, I don't know. Welcome to the Bad Fan Fiction Panel! My name is Will Ryan.
I am JT Kamp.
And we have selected a very special evening for you. I hope you all appreciate it. But we're going to get started anyway. So, first off, who was here last year? This is important. This will be important later on. Okay, great.
There will be a test.
So last year we did something special.
Cue. What cue?
Oh yeah.
We
Don't
did not
worry,
talk
we didn't
about
rehearse this at all.
This is a live.
Ever.
Which one am I doing? This one?
Yeah. So last year,
hang on.
Somehow. We did it. Last year, in our 4th year of doing these panels, we somehow just then did the first ever Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction we'd ever done.
Somehow.
I don't know how we did it.
We accidentally avoided them for years.
It's like being a 40-year-old virgin or something. Anyway, what happened was we decided that it was such a special experience that maybe we should try doing, I don't know, a panel of nothing but Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction.
This is a really obnoxious one. Yeah. We will help again on that one.
Alright. So, we selected, just so it's not, constantly Sonic, we've selected what better can you get than crossovers. So our first one. Nothing better than Life is Strange, am I right? Don't worry, this is only going to get worse. So, to start things off, we're going to go with Sonic the Hedgehog and Life is Strange in a story called Beans. We should get our warning out of the way, shouldn't we?
Oh, yeah, we always got to do this little preliminary warning.
By the way, we're going to run this as an 18+ panel unless somebody complains. No complaints. All right, we're good.
Did you introduce our wonderful series of web shows before we got started?
That's for later.
Okay. All right, never mind.
Once they decide they like us, then we got it. That's how it works.
All right.
So this is Beans by Fuck She Up. The comforting and familiar scent of the photography classroom hit Max, and she was reminded who was going on, and she couldn't help but smile. Walking into his classroom felt almost as good as walking into him. Taking a seat in her usual spot at the back of the calls room, she pulled out her Polaroid camera and took a selfie to commemorate the fact that she was one of her crush's students. I wonder who she can be talking about.
Oh no.
Who's teaching Max?
Is it Sonic the Hedgehog? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't.
We already read this.
I'm sorry.
Okay, anyway.
Okay.
Alright. She couldn't believe how lucky she had been to apply to Arcadia Bay College in hope of meeting her longtime crush and to have actually been placed in one of his classes. She couldn't wait for the first lesson to start to hear his honey-like voice.
A honey-like voice. Is that just like...
He walks in, he's just like... classroom, and he's just like, ha! And it's just honey. It's like a river, a waterfall of honey, a honeyfall. She didn't pay attention to any of the other students that sat down in the classroom because she was shaking with anticipation. Okay, calm down. She's like, is she also quivering in her loins? Like, chill the fuck out.
I mean,
oh my god. Suddenly, she felt her breath stop as a literal angel wolfed into he classroom. A literal angel. Right, so where's the teacher and where's Sonic?
oh, he's on.
It was him. He was real. Mr. Jefferson adjusted his glasses and glanced around the classroom. Mr. Jefferson. Murr Jefferson, because there is no period after Mr. So Murr Jefferson adjusted his glasses and glanced around the classroom.
Wait, I'm sorry, who was it that came into the room?
Murr Jefferson.
His name is John C.
Oh my god,
I love soundboard
2013. All right. I forgot where I was. Okay. Yes. He adjusted his glasses and glanced around the classroom, his gaze lingering on Max for a fraction of a second. That's not lingering. That's like... Oh, sorry if my gaze lingered on you for a fraction of a second. Oh my god. Before he whisked himself away to his desk. She's just experiencing this in slow motion. And then it's just like...
That's the thing they don't tell you about when time slows down. It speeds up to catch up the rest of the way. Oh, well.
Mac had noticed the longing in his gas. Oh no. Senpai had noticed her. I tried, okay?
You did it.
Yay!
It's okay, the table was thirsty too.
Yeah, we gotta treat it with respect.
Yep.
Okay. She clutched her Sonic the Hedgehog necklace to fill her with confidence. And ladies and gentlemen, that's your crossover.
In a blink and you'll miss it move.
Chris Chan enters the photo.
Yay!
Her adopted brother was all she had in life now. Chris Chan?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, since her P. Aritons had been killed by Mary Berry. I don't know.
Infamous serial killer Mary Berry. Just as dangerous as she is delicious.
Absolutely. He started to talk, and she suddenly became aware of her heart beating faster and faster.
She's just having a heart attack. Meanwhile, off in the corner, there's Kira laughing.
He's always in the corner laughing. Just the way he adjusted his sexy, thick-framed glasses against his slightly tanned skin made her want to stride up to the front of the classroom and kiss him passionately.
That would result in detention.
I believe that's called rape. He was asking for it the way he adjusted his glasses. Right, But she had to hold back. I hope so. For now. She couldn't let anyone know her secret except him. Expect him.
Sonic, give me strength!
She starts praying the rosary to Sonic. Despite the way his deep brown eyes fixated on her like she was inferior and powerless.
Is this again him just
Can someone
glancing around the
explain man
room?
caves to me? Fixated on her like she's inferior and powerless. Is he just like... So I don't think that's just his eyes. I think there's a lot more to it than that.
Something like that.
She was not afraid of him. She knew he could take care of her. I don't know, man. This is what Life is Strange was like, right?
Man, life is really strange. I tell you.
She was going to confess after I'm sorry, let me read that properly. After C, ass.
Nobody can know my true love. A few moments later, I gotta tell him. Right after
Right
class.
now. Class quickly passed. Mer Jefferson's gaze catching hers every so often, causing her to look quickly out of the window at Samuel, who was talking to his squirrels and probably plotting to overthrow Barack Obama.
Yeah, roll.
I don't want to understand that reference. Max's head snapped toward the clock as the school bell awoke her from her daydream about Jefferson and her. Snap off. All right. Awoke her from her daydream about Jefferson and her doing the dance with no pants, if you know what I mean, winky face.
I don't know what you mean.
No. It seems like that would be the most uncomfortable thing, just like slapping your genitals against each other.
I feel like this is one of those scenes from Starship Troopers that's like, do you want to know more? Yes.
The students filed out of the classroom, but Max stayed rooted in her chair, her bag clasped in her small, non-yowie hands. What?
I have questions.
So, if you could, in 144 characters or less, explain to me how a girl gets yowie hands.
Really big hands. Sorry, I meant sorry. Yeah, we Hollywood, they have big hands.
Oh, do they? Oh, okay. Somebody got their weeb thesaurus out. Their weebsaurus, and they were just like, non-yowie.
I would also like to just acknowledge that, I don't mean any offense by the term, but it took a person in a fursuit explaining what yaoi hands are to us. The year 2018, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Oh boy. She had started to sweat lightly, and fear started to poison her positive thoughts, egged her daydream. But she knew she had to do this.
Rolling around at the speed
before, he was like glaring daggers into her soul, and she was like, he'll take such good care of me. Now he's like looking at her like, hey, how's it going? She's like,
Oh, so she's a high schooler.
oh. I thought you were gonna say she's a woman.
And, sir.
Well, that's a joke you would make, that's why.
What? Cannot put this in my mouth. Own your mistakes.
Who said their mistakes? Anyway, what do we got? She had started to sweat. Oh no, sorry. Mer Jefferson leaned lightly against his desk, and his eyes wandered from his phone over to her. She was the last one in the classroom. Max, my favorite student. Isn't this the first day of class? Maybe she was right about his eyes lingering on her for a fraction of a second. And that glorious, dreamlike fraction of a second was enough for her to become his favorite student.
And then Steve walks into the class and he's like, Steve, my favorite student.
Yes. He winked at her and her cheeks became a hot pink.
Ooh.
just takes out the fucking Hot Topic. It's just like, yeah. Is Hathor something I can help you with? You seem a little lost. He looked her up and down like he was having thoughts about her that wait, I'm sorry. He looked her up and down like he was having thoughts about her that she didn't know about. I have to apologize, maybe, but I just, if a guy is looking at you and he's going, I don't think you don't know about what thoughts he's having. Just saying.
It seems like he might like Nickelback.
Oh my God.
What did you do? Oh no!
Oh no.
Can we still be heard, or did you unplug everything? You unplugged everything! The one thing you're not supposed to kick is what you kicked. Hey! We're back online, everyone.
Put the wife under my feet. This is not my creative decision. Not my vision. All right, get it out.
Don't kick it anymore.
Max, I've seen the way. Oh, I'm sorry. Mer Jefferson. Max looked down and tears filled her doki eyes.
Uh-oh.
And then she hanged herself. Oh my God. Max, I've seen the way you've been looking at me with your soft, loving, deep blue eyes. He commented. All right, as he started to walk towards where she was sitting, placing one of his hands on the desk, he leaned towards her so their noses were almost touching.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, you're a little too close. Just a little bit back, a little bit farther. My eyes are crossing. A little bit farther back.
I'm pretty sure there are Twitter hashtags for teachers like this.
Max could feel his warm breath on her cheeks. He smelled sort of like old fursuits and out-of-date broccoli.
Yeah.
But she was turned on by that.
Oh, hey, yum.
Mr. Jeff, she started, but he placed a finger on her lips, silencing her. No words, only dreams. Please, call me Mark, he murmured in her ear. Oh, sorry. Please, call me Mark. Max's breath hitched, and she felt her heart begin to beat even louder. Mark, how about you ditch the rest of the day and come over to my house for a cup of tea and some beans on toast?
If you know what I mean.
He said, lips ghosting her neck.
Oh no.
Max was silent for a moment before grinning. You had me at beans. The end. Anyway, I believe you did just be a sound cue. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for round two. And wouldn't you know it, this time it's also not Sonic. It's his best buddy, Shadow.
And honestly, if you were gonna cross over Shadow with anything, just think about something that's edgy enough and dark enough to really suit him. No. All right, who said the Saw franchise? Because this is Saw Shadow by Venenum Temere. Venenum Temere. What a wonderful phrase. Oh. Shadow opened his eyes. The room was dark and eerie. There was a leak somewhere.
I hear a leak. I can't turn the...
and the continuous tapping of dripping water ghostly echoed. Shadow tied to a board and neck high in water. He could move his arms, but not his neck or legs. Arg! He roared as he strained against the metal chains. Click! The monitor turned on, and the haunting mask of Jigsaw appeared.
Jigsaw doesn't wear a mask.
He's a puppet.
It's Billy the Puppet.
So who's wearing a Billy mask? Is it Tails?
This is a cheap... This is
It's Tails, isn't it? It's gotta be Tails. No, Sonic wouldn't do this. Remember, Tails is the one who's good with engineering and machines.
Ah, yeah. I can see it. Should I just voice it as Tails?
Yes.
Hello, Shadow. It's the voice, deep and raspy. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, Shadow. It said, the voice, deep and raspy. Let's play game.
Let's play games. You know that iconic phrase? It's not, let's play game.
Shadow, you mope around in the past complaining of the death of Maria. You ignore your friends who dearly open up to you and help, and you offer nothing in return. The world would be better without you.
So Tails is the hero of this story.
Yeah. You think you are all mighty and powerful because you are the ultimate life form. But you know what, Shadow? I think you're just a pretentious guy who can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. Boom! You failed your life mission, which was saving Maria. The world has no use for you.
Just gotta keep twisting that knife. You bitch and moan like a little baby because Maria died. Oh, by the way, that's the biggest failure of your entire life. And that's not okay, sure.
So Shadow's depressed. Like, I feel like in the past Saw has captured people who are like morally bankrupt or ambiguous, but in this case it's like, no, you're sad. It's hard to die.
You're too sad.
What the hell? What the hell? Shadow screeched at the monitor. He pulled Had at the restraints, but they would not budge. The water around him was cold, but at least it was not rising. Oh my God, Shadow thought in panic. It's going to rise.
It took him that long to figure that out. Well, you know, at least the clock is ticking inside. The gears are moving. Like,
Shadow, the tank you are in is filled with water up to your neck, the mask said. No shit, man, Shadow. These are usually recordings, too, so this tale's just like, ahem, as I was saying. Within a minute, the water will start rise. What? Shadow gasped. You're telling me that this water that I thought was gonna rise is gonna rise? Say it ain't so!
I cannot believe you've done this.
Even though he expected that, it was still a shock hearing it form the killer itself.
It's like, class, what does 2 + 2 equal? And Timmy raises his hand, he's like, 4, 4, 4, 4. Yes, Timmy, 4. You're right. Oh my
God! There are hollows in the board that you have to put both your hands in to get to the button that makes the water drain out. With enough blood from your hands and with both the buttons pressed, you might escape. Would you slice your hands off to save your pitiful life?
Seems awfully direct.
Also, usually Jigsaw's trap has something to do with the crime.
You failed to save Maria. Now cut your hands off so you'll never save anyone ever again.
I bet you were sad before. Well, get a load of this!
No hands, man. Try being the ultimate life form with no hands.
Wow. That's it. Chaos, Shadow started. And I wouldn't recommend using chaos control.
That timing is extremely convenient.
Yes, it was perfect. If the machine detects the slightest power using chaos energy, the tank will close itself, killing you Time frozen or not.
That's literally not possible.
That's not a... I'm a little rusty on my Sonic lore, but...
It'll create heat so hot that it melts time. It'll unfreeze it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Jigsaw swayed his head side to side. You know, like Jigsaw do. And remember, Shadow, only time can save you. The screen flickered off.
So you should freeze time so there's infinite time and then it can save it. I don't. What is. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think.
No! Shadow screamed, banging his head against the board. He knocked himself unconscious and died. Banging his head against the board. Zip! The timer started. Tick, tick, tick. Arg! Shadow moved his arms toward the holes
He's
in
just
the
a
board.
pirate now.
Yar!
For the second time, Arr!
He placed one finger and immediately a slicing knife passed through and scarped it off. So it's not a tool, it's just somebody standing behind the wood with two knives like, ha! Gotcha! Hang on, look, ow! Ow!
Come on, dude.
Shadow shrieked in pain. Tick, tick, tick. Maybe if I just
And then
could
there's another guy standing behind it going tick, 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 tick. There's no actual clock. It just ticks off fucking with it the whole time. Tails is like tick, tick, tick.
Now this next line is just wildly inappropriate. Maybe if I just put a finger in the other hole. Nope, didn't work. Shadow thought. He moved his left towards the hollow in the board. Slice! Burning, searing pain sped up his arm and Shadow bit his lip. Tick, tick, tick. Was that enough? Shadow thought. Somebody help! Shadow screamed. Tick, tick, tick. Anyone, can you hear me? Tick, tick, tick. The timer sped up.
What?
That's cheating!
How is that fair? You have a minute. Oh, just kidding. Now it's 10 seconds.
Rolling around at the speed of sound.
Spin break.
He glanced at the clock face, only 20 seconds left. He wanted to reach out and punched the stupid timer. It was easily reachable with his hand. Breathing heavily, Shadow plunged his hand into the hollows. He felt daggers scrapped his hands. He felt the buttons and pressed it. Shadow was thankful he couldn't see his hands. He felt the knives scratching off the skin. The water was red from the bloodshed. Tick, 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 bring. It's really happy.
The clock exploded into rings.
Tick, 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 bring. The timer stopped. Nothing happened. God, oh God, Shadow gasped. The water wasn't rising. Carefully, he pulled out his hands and raised them to his face. He had no right hand anymore, just pieces of flesh. His left hand was still there, but it looked more like a bleeding skeleton with some skin. Ah, that's spooky. Too spooky for me.
Then suddenly Shadow became a skeleton and broke this.
Suddenly, the water became warm. Oh, I peed, sorry. What the? Shadow coughed. That wasn't me. Who peed in the pool?
Tails.
Shadow coughed. It got hotter, boiling hot. Bubbles started to sizzle and steam sprayed in his face. Ah!
Steam sprayed from where? He's like dead.
The same holes with
He's
the
like, I can see you now.
Got him. There, he stared at the timer. There, in the middle of the timer, was a button. Shit! Remember, Shadow, only time can save you. Ah, you remember when he said it? Shadow reached out and tried to press it. Then he realized he had no right hand. I got this. Wait a minute.
Something different. What? Am I missing some? Oh no, my hand!
His right arm pointed towards the timer helplessly. It didn't reach. The water got hotter and hot.
It didn't reach.
Am I the timer?
Yes.
Okay. The water got hotter and hotter. He felt his skin split open from the heat. His flesh peeled off. Ah! Come on, reach, he whimpered before finally melting away into a pool of water blackened with blood. The end!
Because his fur was black. Just because his fur was black doesn't mean he melted into black.
So, good news, everyone. In our Sonic the Hedgehog fueled night, we've killed Shadow already. Hooray!